I have often marveled at the hidden forces that govern our lives. Only when I began to study the human mind did I understand that our conscious thoughts are but the tip of an iceberg. Beneath lies a vast ocean of power, the subconscious mind, which, whether we realize it or not, is orchestrating every action, every decision, and every outcome in our life. Most people live their lives unaware of this immense power. They chase success, wealth, and happiness, thinking that their conscious effort alone determines results. Yet, the truth I discovered after years of observation and study is far more profound. It is the unseen, the silent, and the unrecognized workings of the subconscious mind that are the true architects of our destiny. From the moment we are born, our subconscious begins its tireless work. It absorbs everything we see, hear, and experience. The words of our parents, the attitudes of our teachers, the successes and failures we witness, all are meticulously catalogued within this vast repository of memory and belief. The conscious mind, which we often glorify as our thinking self, is like a small clerk, taking orders from the subconscious, following its instructions without question. When we learn to recognize this dynamic, we begin to understand the invisible strings that pull at every aspect of our lives. I remember a particular morning that changed the course of my thinking forever. I had been struggling with a series of setbacks in my career. No matter how hard I worked, it seemed that opportunity eluded me. Frustration began to take hold. I had long been familiar with the concept of persistence, but persistence alone was not yielding results. One quiet morning, I paused to reflect on my own patterns of thought. It was then that I realized my subconscious mind had been unconsciously accepting fear, doubt, and limitation as its operating code. The seeds of failure had been sown not in my circumstances, but in my own mind. This awakening taught me an invaluable lesson. To control life's outcomes, one must first understand and influence the subconscious mind. The subconscious is not rational, it does not argue or question. It acts upon the suggestions and beliefs it receives, tirelessly and obediently. If it is fed thoughts of fear, scarcity, or inadequacy, it manifests those conditions in our life. If it is nourished with thoughts of confidence, abundance, and certainty, it responds with creative solutions, opportunities, and success. In essence, we become what we repeatedly tell ourselves, often without realizing we are telling ourselves anything at all. Consider the ordinary individual who dreams of wealth but subconsciously believes that wealth is reserved for others. Such a person may work diligently, study tirelessly, and even seek advice from mentors, yet they remain trapped. Why? Because the subconscious mind obeys the ruling beliefs stored within it. Until those beliefs are aligned with the conscious desire, the dream remains just that, a dream. The first step toward mastery, therefore, is awareness. We must awaken to the reality that the subconscious is alive, vigilant, and unceasingly at work, whether for our benefit or detriment. I have observed that many successful men and women did not achieve greatness merely through intelligence or talent. Rather, they achieved it through faith in their purpose and the deliberate guidance of their subconscious mind. They planted seeds of desire deep within, nourished them with emotion, and repeatedly impressed upon their subconscious the certainty of achievement. When the mind was thus aligned, it began to attract circumstances, people, and resources in mysterious but effective ways. Opportunities that would have been invisible to the untrained eye became apparent. Solutions to problems that once seemed insurmountable appeared effortlessly. This is the power of the subconscious mind. It turns thought into reality. Yet, awareness alone is not sufficient. We must also cultivate control over the messages we feed our subconscious. Just as a gardener carefully selects the seeds to plant, we must carefully choose the thoughts, emotions, and affirmations that enter our mental soil. Fearful thoughts must be replaced with courageous ones. Doubts must be supplanted by certainty. Worries about scarcity must give way to unwavering belief in abundance. Each thought is a seed, each emotion, water. Over time, The subconscious mind grows a garden that reflects these inputs, a garden of limitation or a garden of limitless potential. I recall a young man, filled with ambition yet plagued by hesitation. His conscious mind desired success, yet every decision he made, every choice, every delay was dictated by unrecognized fears and past failures. Only when he began to consciously reprogram his subconscious with thoughts of ability, courage, and determination did he experience a shift. Opportunities that had once passed him by now appeared. Doors previously closed swung open. The change was not instantaneous, yet it was inevitable once the subconscious had been properly directed. The law is immutable. The subconscious mind obeys. The question is, are we providing it commands that serve us or commands that limit us? In my own life, I have found that the most effective method of influencing the subconscious mind is through repetition and emotional intensity. Thoughts repeated with feeling penetrate deeply. Affirmations, visualization, and meditation are not mere exercises in optimism, they are deliberate techniques to impress upon the subconscious mind the reality we wish to experience. The mind does not differentiate between imagined experience and physical reality. When emotion is present, it accepts vividly imagined success as fact, and in response, begins to orchestrate real-life events that align with that success. Understanding this principle has been more transformative than any single financial strategy or business plan I have ever studied. Therefore, I invite you to consider this carefully. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every feeling you harbor is influenced by a power far greater than your conscious reasoning. This is not a force to be feared, but a power to be mastered. By becoming aware of its presence, by learning to feed it the right thoughts, and by impressing upon it the certainty of your success, you can begin to take control of a life that might otherwise have been at the mercy of circumstance and habit. Your subconscious mind is running your life, yes, but it can run it for you, not against you. As I continue this exploration, I will reveal the ways in which your subconscious can be deliberately trained, focused, and harnessed. I will explain the role of desire, faith, persistence, and autosuggestion in aligning your deepest mental forces with your conscious goals. I will demonstrate that the mind, once understood and mastered, is the most powerful ally a human being can possess. And most importantly, I will show that this power is not reserved for a fortunate few. It is available to anyone willing to learn, practice, and direct it with purpose. Awakening to the power of your subconscious mind is the first step on a journey that can transform every area of your existence. It is the beginning of mastery over thought, emotion, and action. It is the moment when you recognize that the most important influence in your life is not what happens outside you, but what happens within you. Take heed, for this truth, once fully embraced, has the power to turn dreams into reality and the ordinary into the extraordinary. I have often observed that most people do not realize the degree to which their lives are governed by forces they cannot see. From my earliest studies of human behavior, it became clear that the subconscious mind is constantly at work, recording, absorbing, and acting upon every impression, whether positive or negative. The thoughts you think repeatedly, the fears you entertain, and even the excuses you tell yourself all are quietly shaping your life in profound ways. Yet, because these processes operate below the level of conscious awareness, most individuals continue to act as though they are free agents, unaware of the invisible programming that dictates their choices. Consider a young man I once met in the early stages of his career. He was intelligent, ambitious, and eager to succeed. Yet, despite his best efforts, he struggled to make meaningful progress. I asked him to describe his thoughts about success and wealth. What I discovered astonished me. Deep within his subconscious, he believed that wealth was reserved for others, that success was something that happened to lucky people, and that he, somehow, would always fall short. His conscious mind could envision goals and make plans, but the subconscious mind, the true operator of his life, was silently countermanding every effort. This young man's story is not unusual. It is, in fact, the rule rather than the exception. The subconscious mind operates in a simple, but absolute manner. It obeys the instructions it receives. It cannot judge, it cannot analyze, and it cannot argue. It does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined, provided the thought is impressed with sufficient intensity and repetition. If fear, doubt, and limitation are consistently presented, it will manifest those conditions in life. Conversely, if faith, confidence, and certainty are repeatedly impressed upon it, the subconscious will work tirelessly to bring them to fruition. The mind, in this sense, is neutral, it simply executes orders. The question, then, is not whether the subconscious controls your life, but whether you are consciously directing it toward your own benefit. I have spent decades studying the habits of successful men and women. One of the most striking observations I have made is that they all understood, consciously or intuitively, how to work with their subconscious. They did not simply dream or hope, they planted ideas, reinforced them daily, and infused them with emotion. The subconscious, responding to this deliberate programming, began to generate opportunities, ideas, and solutions. It was as if the universe itself was aligning to fulfill the vision they had carefully instilled in their minds. This is not magic, it is law, the law of mind and thought, immutable and precise. The programming of the subconscious begins in childhood. Long before we learn the mechanics of conscious thought, every word spoken to us, every success we witness, every failure we experience, leaves an indelible mark. Some of these impressions empower us, others hinder us. A child repeatedly told, "You can't do that, or you'll never succeed," will carry those messages into adulthood, often unconsciously sabotaging their own efforts. Conversely, encouragement, recognition, and belief in potential build a foundation upon which confidence and achievement can flourish. The subconscious does not judge these messages, it simply obeys them, quietly translating them into habitual behavior. I have observed that most struggles in life are, at their root, struggles of the mind. People labor under limitations they have never consciously chosen, but have inherited through repetition, suggestion, and social influence. The first step toward liberation, therefore, is awareness, recognizing that the subconscious is at work and that it can be deliberately influenced, is the key to transforming any area of life. Once a person understands this, they can begin to take deliberate control, replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. One method I have found particularly effective is autosuggestion. This practice involves consciously repeating thoughts, affirmations, and mental images that reflect the life you desire. These repeated suggestions, especially when combined with emotion and belief, penetrate the subconscious, gradually replacing old, limiting programs. It is not enough to merely think positively once or twice. Repetition is essential, for the subconscious mind responds most powerfully to consistency and intensity. The mind will not be hurried, it moves in accordance with law, not desire. But once impressions are firmly planted, it responds without hesitation. Another critical aspect is emotional involvement. The subconscious mind does not respond to logic or reason alone, it responds to feeling. The intensity of belief and emotional attachment to an idea determines the speed and accuracy with which the subconscious brings it to life. When desire is accompanied by emotion, faith, and persistence, the subconscious mind mobilizes forces, visible and invisible, to create the conditions necessary for success. The individual who understands this principle experiences opportunities that the untrained mind cannot see. They recognize solutions where others see obstacles. They act decisively where others hesitate. This is the profound advantage of mastering the subconscious. Consider also the role of habit. Habits are, in essence, subconscious programs that repeat without conscious thought. Once a behavior is ingrained, the mind executes it automatically. Positive habits, therefore, become powerful allies. Negative habits become invisible chains. By consciously directing the formation of habits, by instilling patterns of thought and action aligned with goals, a person can harness the subconscious mind to reinforce success daily. Every repeated action, every consistent thought, strengthens the programming, creating momentum that is unstoppable once established. I have also observed that setbacks, failures, and challenges provide opportunities to refine subconscious programming. The mind responds to repeated input, whether negative or positive. When adversity strikes, it is not the event itself that determines outcome, but the interpretation and emotional response impressed upon the subconscious. Individuals who maintain faith, focus, and persistence during trials emerge stronger, for the subconscious has been trained to seek solutions rather than dwell on limitation. This principle underlies every story of triumph I have studied or recorded. It is crucial to understand, however, that conscious effort alone is insufficient. Knowledge without application is powerless. Intention without repetition is wasted. The subconscious mind operates constantly, invisibly, and without pause. If we fail to direct it, it will obey the default programs accumulated over a lifetime. But if we act with purpose, consistency, and faith, the same mind becomes a partner, an ally, and a vehicle for extraordinary achievement. Mastery over life begins not with the circumstances we face, but with the understanding and guidance of the forces within. I have seen men who, despite lack of formal education or initial resources, achieved greatness because they learned to command their subconscious minds. I have seen others of talent and wealth fail spectacularly, because they neglected this invisible power. The lesson is unmistakable. The subconscious mind is neutral, obedient, and powerful. The results it produces are determined solely by the quality of the instructions it receives. Those who learn to give deliberate, constructive, and positive commands to the subconscious open the door to limitless potential. Those who ignore it remain subject to circumstance, habit, and the suggestions of others. In conclusion, the subconscious mind shapes every aspect of our existence. It is neither friend nor foe. It is a law of nature that operates with unerring precision. By understanding its mechanisms, observing its influence, and deliberately impressing it with empowering thoughts and emotions, we can harness this immense power for our highest good. The first step is awareness, the second is disciplined action. Those who undertake this path find that the world responds, opportunities multiply, and life unfolds according to their deepest desires. The secret of success is no longer secret, it resides quietly within the unseen chambers of the mind, waiting for us to awaken and command it. I have discovered, through years of study and observation, that desire is the starting point of all achievement. It is the spark that ignites the engine of the subconscious mind, setting into motion forces that can create extraordinary results. Yet desire alone is not enough. Many individuals possess fleeting wishes, vague longings, or casual hopes. These, though sincere, rarely yield tangible outcomes because they lack clarity and intensity. For the subconscious mind to respond effectively, desire must be definite, specific, and imbued with emotion. I recall a young entrepreneur who approached me with a vague aspiration. "I want to be successful," he said. I asked him, "What do you mean by success?" He paused. He could not articulate a clear goal, a definite aim. Without specificity, his subconscious mind had no precise instructions to follow. It continued to operate according to the general beliefs and fears he had absorbed over a lifetime. In contrast, I have met others who had a burning desire to achieve a clearly defined goal, who wrote it down, visualized it daily, and spoke of it with emotion and certainty. The difference was remarkable. The latter group consistently found opportunities, solutions, and allies to accomplish what they sought. The subconscious mind, when directed with clarity, becomes an unstoppable force. In my own experience, I have learned to treat desire as a command to the subconscious. The first step is to define your definite chief aim, a single, clear purpose that aligns all thoughts and actions toward one objective. This aim must be precise, measurable, and desirable. A vague wish such as "I want to be rich" is insufficient. One must define the amount of wealth desired, the timeline, and the means by which it will be achieved. This clarity impresses upon the subconscious mind a definite path, and from there, it begins to generate ideas, inspiration, and opportunities in alignment with that aim. Equally important is the emotional charge behind desire. The subconscious mind responds not to abstract concepts but to feelings. I have observed that intense emotion acts as a catalyst, accelerating the process by which thought is translated into reality. Faith, courage, enthusiasm, and belief in one's ability amplify the effect of desire on the subconscious. Conversely, doubt, fear, and hesitation weaken the influence of even the most passionate wish. The mind operates like a mirror. It reflects with precision the emotions and convictions impressed upon it. One must therefore cultivate feelings of certainty and conviction, not merely thoughts of what is desired. I have also found that repeated affirmation and visualization are essential tools in directing the subconscious. By vividly imagining the successful achievement of your desire, by engaging all senses and emotions in this mental rehearsal, you create a powerful impression upon the subconscious. The mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. It treats the vividly visualized success as fact and works tirelessly to make it manifest in the external world. I have personally applied this principle many times, and in every case, opportunities, solutions, and resources appeared as if by magic. The magic, of course, is the law of mind, exact and impartial. Another principle I have observed is the importance of unwavering faith in the eventual attainment of one's desire. Faith, in this context, is not mere wishful thinking, it is a confident expectation that the subconscious mind will bring your aim to fruition. I have counseled many individuals who possessed clear goals and repeated affirmations, yet faltered because they allowed doubt to creep in. The subconscious mind cannot act effectively if it receives mixed messages. Confidence, repetition, and emotional intensity are the three pillars that direct subconscious activity towards success. Without them, desire remains dormant, and potential is wasted. Persistence, too, is inseparable from the effective use of desire and definite purpose. The subconscious mind works continuously, yet it requires consistent, directed input to maintain momentum. Those who abandon their purpose at the first sign of difficulty send contradictory signals to the mind. I have seen countless talented individuals falter not for lack of ability, but for lack of persistence. True mastery of the subconscious requires patience, daily effort, and repeated reaffirmation of your chief aim. By reinforcing your purpose through thought, emotion, and action, you ensure that the subconscious remains aligned and productive. In practical terms, the process begins with writing down your definite chief aim. This must be done in a clear, positive, and specific manner. Include not only the goal itself, but also a plan of action, a timeline, and the benefits you will achieve. Read this statement aloud daily. Visualize the successful completion of the aim, and engage your emotions as if it has already been accomplished. The subconscious mind, absorbing these instructions, begins to orchestrate the events, ideas, and actions necessary for success. Over time, what was once a mere desire transforms into concrete reality. I have often observed that the subconscious mind also works in unexpected ways, generating opportunities that the conscious mind might not foresee. Ideas, solutions, and encounters appear seemingly by coincidence, yet they are the natural response of a mind focused with desire and definite purpose. The law is impartial and exact. Give the subconscious a clear command, reinforce it with emotion and repetition, and it will fulfill its mandate. The key is clarity, intensity, and persistence. Finally, I must emphasize that desire alone, even when definite, is insufficient without action. The subconscious mind generates ideas and influences circumstances, but the conscious mind must act upon these opportunities. Action completes the cycle, translating mental impressions into tangible results. Those who combine desire, faith, visualization, and persistent action achieve extraordinary success. Those who neglect any of these components remain trapped in limitation. Their subconscious guided by old beliefs rather than new, empowering commands. In conclusion, the role of desire and definite purpose is central to the mastery of the subconscious mind. Desire is the spark, definite purpose is the direction, emotion and faith are the fuel, and persistent action is the vehicle. Together, these elements enable the subconscious to align all forces in service of your goals. The principle is simple, yet profound, and it is accessible to every individual willing to learn and apply it. Mastery over your subconscious begins with clarity of purpose and intensity of desire. Once these are established, the mind, obedient and powerful, begins to shape your life according to your deepest intentions. I have often said that the mind is like fertile soil. It grows whatever seeds are planted within it. Some seeds produce flowers and abundance, others yield weeds and limitation. The tool by which we deliberately plant and cultivate these seeds in the subconscious mind is autosuggestion. It is the practice of consciously impressing our desires, beliefs, and intentions upon the mind until they take root and influence our habits, decisions, and actions. Without autosuggestion, desire remains a fleeting wish. With it, desire becomes a living, active force capable of shaping reality. I first encountered the principle of autosuggestion through my studies of successful men and women, and later through careful experimentation on myself. I noticed that those who achieved extraordinary results did so not merely by thinking positively, but by repeatedly impressing specific ideas upon their subconscious with conviction, emotion, and clarity. It is not enough to hope for wealth, health, or success. One must actively direct the mind toward these objectives. The subconscious is obedient. It will accept the commands it is given, whether constructive or destructive. The question is, what instructions are you providing to yours? Autosuggestion begins with repetition of a clearly defined statement of purpose. I advise my students to write down a definite goal or affirmation in precise terms, and then repeat it aloud several times daily. This simple yet powerful act impresses the subconscious mind, gradually replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. The key is consistency. A single repetition has little effect repeated daily. The statement penetrates deeply into the subconscious, shaping thoughts, emotions, and actions. Over time, the mind begins to operate in harmony with the desired outcome, attracting opportunities and solutions that align with the stated purpose. Consider the role of emotion in autosuggestion. The subconscious does not respond to words alone, it responds to feeling. Repetition must be accompanied by genuine belief and emotional intensity. When a statement of desire is repeated with faith, enthusiasm, and certainty, it becomes a command that the subconscious cannot ignore. Without emotion, repetition is mechanical and less effective. I have observed that individuals who engage both mind and heart in autosuggestion achieve results far more rapidly than those who rely solely on the intellect. The mind, after all, is not moved by logic alone, it is moved by conviction. I have personally used autosuggestion to overcome fears, build confidence, and direct my life toward ambitious goals. In my early career, I faced challenges that seemed insurmountable. Financial struggles, skepticism from peers, and self-doubt. I began a disciplined practice of writing down my chief aims, repeating affirmations, visualizing success, and emotionally attaching myself to the certainty of achievement. Slowly, I noticed changes in my thoughts, decisions, and circumstances. Opportunities appeared, ideas flowed, and solutions presented themselves in ways that seemed miraculous. Yet there was no magic, only the faithful obedience of the subconscious mind to the commands I had impressed upon it. The subconscious mind also communicates with the conscious mind through intuition and inspiration. Ideas that appear suddenly, solutions that emerge seemingly out of nowhere, and creative impulses are often the results of subconscious activity. By employing autosuggestion, we prime the subconscious to focus on constructive, goal-oriented thoughts, making it more likely that these flashes of insight will align with our desires. This is why I emphasize both clarity and emotional intensity. The subconscious responds to vivid, emotionally charged instructions more readily than to vague or lukewarm desires. Autosuggestion is not limited to material success. It can also influence character, health, and personal relationships, repeatedly impressing upon the subconscious the qualities one wishes to embody. Courage, patience, kindness, resilience gradually transforms behavior and perception. I have observed that individuals who conscientiously apply this principle develop habits and reactions that reflect the ideals they have impressed upon their subconscious. Character is, in essence, a collection of programmed responses, and autosuggestion is the mechanism by which these programs can be consciously rewritten. I have also noted that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between real experiences and vividly imagined ones. When a person visualizes the successful completion of a goal with intensity and emotion, the mind accepts it as reality. This explains why visualization, combined with autosuggestion, is such a powerful tool. By repeatedly seeing oneself succeed, by imagining in detail the emotions, sensations, and outcomes associated with that success, one impresses a template upon the subconscious. The mind, obedient and precise, then works to manifest that template in the external world. An important element of autosuggestion is removing negative influences. Just as one would not plant seeds in soil choked with weeds, the mind cannot flourish if it is filled with fear, doubt, and destructive suggestions. Individuals must consciously guard against negative input, criticism, pessimism, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs. Replace these with positive, goal-aligned thoughts, and the subconscious mind will respond in kind. Consistent mental discipline, coupled with repeated, emotionally charged affirmations, establishes new patterns of thoughts that guide behavior and attract favorable circumstances. I have counseled countless individuals who failed to achieve their desires because they neglected the emotional and repetitive aspects of autosuggestion. They wrote statements, spoke affirmations, or briefly visualized success, yet abandoned the practice when results did not immediately appear. The subconscious mind operates on law, not impatience. Persistence, repetition, and faith are essential. It is the daily, disciplined reinforcement of positive suggestions that gradually rewrites the programs of the subconscious and sets the stage for success. Finally, I must emphasize that autosuggestion alone is not sufficient without action. The subconscious mind generates ideas, opens doors, and aligns circumstances, but it requires the conscious mind to act upon these insights. Action completes the cycle, translating mental impressions into tangible results. Those who combine autosuggestion, faith, visualization, and deliberate action experience exponential growth and achievement. Those who neglect action remain in the realm of thought alone, never realizing the full potential of their subconscious power. In conclusion, the power of autosuggestion is the deliberate method by which we impress our desires and goals upon the subconscious mind. Repetition, emotional intensity, clarity of purpose, and consistent application transform vague wishes into living forces capable of shaping reality. By understanding and mastering this principle, one can harness the hidden power that quietly directs every thought, habit, and decision. The mind, once properly guided, becomes a tireless partner in the pursuit of success, abundance, and personal mastery. The seed has been planted. Nurture it daily, and watch your life blossom according to the desires you have impressed upon it. I have learned that the greatest obstacle between desire and achievement is not external circumstance, but the limitations imposed by our own mind. Among these limitations, fear stands supreme. Fear, in all its forms: fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of loss. Fear of the unknown has the power to paralyze thought, stifle action, and block the flow of ideas from the subconscious mind. The human mind, left unchecked, tends to dwell on these fears, reinforcing them with repetition, until they become deeply ingrained programs that dictate behavior. The first step toward mastery is recognizing fear not as a fact, but as a signal, a guidepost indicating where the subconscious may need reprogramming. I remember a time early in my career when fear nearly defeated me. I was presented with an opportunity to speak before a large audience, a platform that could open doors to influence and opportunity. Yet, despite my knowledge and preparation, I felt a wave of dread. I realized then that this fear was not a reflection of reality, but a program implanted in my subconscious by past experiences of doubt and self-criticism. The choice was clear: allow fear to control me, or deliberately impress upon my subconscious the certainty of success. I chose the latter, repeating affirmations, visualizing the positive outcome, and infusing my mind with confidence and determination. That day, I delivered my speech with clarity and conviction, and it became a turning point in my life. Persistence is the natural companion of autosuggestion. The subconscious mind does not respond to occasional impulses, it responds to consistent, sustained effort. When we repeatedly impress upon it our goals, with clarity and emotional intensity, it begins to work tirelessly to manifest them. Yet, without persistence, even the most powerful suggestions lose their effectiveness. Many individuals fail not from lack of ability, but from ceasing their efforts at the first sign of difficulty. Persistence transforms desire into reality, turning resistance, setbacks, and failure into opportunities for growth. I have observed that all successful men and women share a remarkable quality: an unwavering commitment to their aims. When setbacks occur, they view them not as defeats, but as temporary obstacles, messages that guide them to adjust and refine their approach. The subconscious mind, when continuously fed with persistence and faith, becomes a powerful ally, generating ideas, solutions, and insights that would otherwise remain hidden. I have witnessed ordinary individuals rise to extraordinary heights, because they refuse to surrender to fear, doubt, or temporary discouragement. The connection between fear and the subconscious is particularly important. Fear is a message from the mind indicating that a certain belief or habit is at odds with desired outcomes. If left unchecked, fear dictates behavior, often in subtle and insidious ways. Individuals may avoid action, procrastinate, or rationalize inaction, all unconsciously guided by the subconscious programs of fear. The antidote, I have found, is a combination of awareness, autosuggestion, and repeated action. By deliberately confronting fear, impressing upon the subconscious the certainty of success, and taking persistent steps toward the goal, one can gradually dissolve the hold of fear and replace it with confidence and initiative. Consider the man who desires wealth but fears investment. His subconscious mind, trained by past experiences or inherited beliefs, whispers that money is risky, that failure is inevitable, that loss is unavoidable. These suggestions, repeated internally, take root and shape decisions. The conscious mind may devise plans, yet the subconscious subtly resists. The remedy is deliberate reprogramming, repeated affirmations of abundance, visualization of successful outcomes, emotional attachment to positive results, and persistent, calculated action. Over time, fear is replaced by confidence, hesitation gives way to decisive action, and the subconscious begins to cooperate fully with the conscious purpose. I have also observed that persistence transforms adversity into advantage. Every challenge, every setback, every obstacle encountered in the pursuit of a goal provides the opportunity to reinforce the subconscious mind with determination and faith. I have met individuals who, after repeated failures, finally succeeded because they refused to quit. Their subconscious, bombarded with repeated commands to persist and succeed, began to generate ideas and solutions that made success inevitable. This principle, though simple, is profound. The subconscious mind is not swayed by complaint, despair, or excuses. It responds to consistent, purposeful direction. Courage is a close companion of persistence. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite fear. I have counseled countless individuals who waited for fear to vanish before acting, only to be paralyzed indefinitely. The law is immutable. Action precedes courage. By taking deliberate steps, by repeatedly confronting the sources of fear, and by impressing the mind with positive, confident outcomes, courage grows, fear diminishes, and the subconscious mind aligns fully with purpose. It is important to understand that persistence is not stubbornness without flexibility. The conscious mind must remain alert, willing to adjust plans, strategies, and methods in response to changing circumstances. The subconscious, however, requires unwavering focus on the ultimate objective. By separating the goal from the method, and persisting relentlessly in the pursuit of the objective, the mind remains directed and effective. Those who fail often confuse temporary setbacks with permanent defeat. Those who succeed see setbacks as signals, guidance from the subconscious, and opportunities to refine action while maintaining focus on the ultimate aim. I recall a student of mine, a young woman of remarkable intelligence, who sought to launch a business despite repeated rejection and discouragement. Each failure could have extinguished her ambition, yet she persisted, visualizing success, affirming her ability, and acting decisively every day. Over months, her subconscious mind became fully aligned with her purpose. Ideas emerged, opportunities appeared, and eventually, she achieved results that exceeded her original expectations. This is the power of persistence, the conscious reinforcement of positive commands to the subconscious mind over time. In conclusion, persistence and the overcoming of fear are inseparable from the mastery of the subconscious mind. Fear, left unchallenged, will dictate behavior. Persistence, applied deliberately, reshapes the mind, aligns it with purpose, and transforms challenges into stepping stones. By combining awareness, autosuggestion, repeated action, and emotional intensity, we can dissolve the invisible barriers imposed by fear, and direct the subconscious toward the fulfillment of our desires. The journey is neither easy nor instantaneous, but it is certain. Those who persist, who act despite fear, and who impress their subconscious with unwavering purpose, ultimately triumph. The mind, obedient and powerful, will work tirelessly on their behalf once properly guided. As I reflect upon the principles I have shared, I am struck by a single, undeniable truth. Mastery of the subconscious mind is the ultimate key to personal achievement. All the knowledge, skill, and ambition in the world amount to little unless the hidden forces within the mind are properly understood and directed. Every thought, every belief, every emotion is either a servant of your goals or a saboteur of your success. The choice, though subtle, is yours to make, and it begins with awareness, continues with deliberate practice, and culminates in mastery. I have observed countless individuals who achieve extraordinary results, not because they are inherently superior in intelligence, wealth, or opportunity, but because they have learned to integrate conscious thought with subconscious action. Their conscious mind envisions, plans, and directs, while their subconscious, obedient and tireless, works ceaselessly to manifest those plans. This integration, mind aligned with mind, is the hallmark of all remarkable achievement. Without it, even the most brilliant plans falter. With it, the simplest action becomes exponentially effective. Integration begins with clarity. The subconscious responds to precision, not ambiguity. A clearly defined goal, a specific plan, and repeated, emotionally charged affirmations create a framework within which the subconscious can operate. This clarity must be reinforced consistently through daily practice, visualization, repetition, and emotional engagement. I have seen that individuals who neglect these elements allow their subconscious to operate on outdated programs, shaped by fear, habit, and the expectations of others. Integration requires that every thought, word, and action be consciously aligned with the objectives impressed upon the subconscious. I have also found that mastery requires balance between patience and action. The subconscious mind works steadily, yet it is not instantaneous. Impatient minds often abandon effort prematurely, undermining the very power they seek to harness. Mastery is achieved not by force, but by persistence, repetition, and faith. Day by day, thought by thought, emotion by emotion, the subconscious becomes aligned with the conscious purpose. Opportunities that once seemed improbable materialize. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable reveal solutions. The mind, now fully integrated, orchestrates circumstances, people, and ideas to produce results. One cannot overstate the role of emotional involvement. The subconscious is not persuaded by logic alone. It requires conviction, intensity, and feeling. Mastery demands that we engage the mind with enthusiasm, faith, and certainty. I have witnessed individuals with mediocre talent accomplish extraordinary feats, because their emotions drove the subconscious to work relentlessly on their behalf. Conversely, those of remarkable intellect, but weak emotional conviction often falter. The mind, after all, operates as a whole. The conscious and subconscious must be united in purpose, energized by feeling, and disciplined through practice. I have also observed that the subconscious mind thrives on definite purpose. A life without clear aims is a life of drift. The subconscious, like a servant awaiting instructions, cannot operate effectively without direction. It obeys the strongest commands, whether positive or negative. Those who achieve mastery provide consistent, specific, emotionally charged instructions. Those who fail allow contradictory, vague, or negative messages to dominate. Definite purpose acts as a compass, focusing the subconscious on the desired destination, while eliminating distractions and doubt. The process of integration also involves continuous self-examination and correction. We must monitor our thoughts, beliefs, and habits, identifying those that undermine purpose and replacing them with constructive alternatives. The subconscious mind is neutral. It obeys without judgment. It will amplify whatever is impressed upon it. Mastery, therefore, is not a matter of coercion, but of deliberate programming, repeated reinforcement, and vigilant oversight. The mind, once aligned, becomes a powerful ally, capable of producing results that appear almost miraculous to the untrained observer. I recall a man who struggled 4 years in business. Despite intelligence and effort, his failures were not due to lack of ability, but due to a subconscious program of doubt and fear inherited from early experiences. Once he consciously identified these patterns, applied daily autosuggestion, visualized his success, and acted persistently, his fortunes transformed. The subconscious, now receiving clear, positive, and repeated commands, began to operate as a partner rather than an obstacle. This illustrates the profound principle of integration. Mastery of the subconscious converts latent potential into tangible achievement. Furthermore, mastery requires understanding that the subconscious mind responds to belief and expectation. Whatever we truly believe with feeling, the subconscious begins to manifest. Doubt and hesitation weaken the signal, faith strengthens it. This principle underlies all successful human endeavor. I have observed inventors, entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders whose achievements were impossible to predict by external circumstances alone. Their success was the natural consequence of internal alignment, conscious purpose, and subconscious obedience working in harmony, powered by unwavering belief. Ultimately, the path to mastery is the path to freedom. When the subconscious is aligned with conscious purpose, fear diminishes, hesitation disappears, and creativity flourishes. Life ceases to be a series of random events, and becomes a field upon which the mind can shape reality. Every action becomes more purposeful, every decision more effective, every challenge an opportunity. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The potential latent within the mind becomes manifest in the world. I encourage every reader to recognize that this power is not reserved for a select few. It is available to anyone willing to study, practice, and direct the mind with purpose. Mastery is not a secret held by the fortunate, it is a law of thought, accessible to all. The mind is neutral, obedient, and infinitely capable. The difference between success and failure lies in understanding this law, applying it consistently, and integrating conscious and subconscious action. In conclusion, Mastery and integration represent the culmination of all principles I have shared. Awareness of the subconscious, the power of desire, definite purpose, autosuggestion, persistence, and overcoming fear. These elements, when combined, allow the mind to function as a unified, harmonious, and tireless force. Life, once seemingly governed by chance, becomes a canvas upon which the mind can paint its highest aspiration. The secret is neither elusive nor mystical. It lies quietly within, waiting for recognition, practice, and deliberate guidance. Mastery of the subconscious mind is the key to achieving wealth, success, personal fulfillment, and freedom. The moment you embrace this truth and integrate it into your daily life, you begin to direct your destiny, rather than merely react to it. Your subconscious mind is not merely a silent observer, it is the architect of your reality. Command it, guide it, and integrate it with conscious purpose, and it will shape your life in ways beyond imagination. The power is within you. The law is exact. The results are inevitable when mastery is achieved.